Good morning. I want to welcome all of you to this groundbreaking ceremony. And for those of you who are outside the tent, please try to come as close as you possibly can, because if nothing else, symbolically, we want everybody inside the tent, right? That everybody is a part of this, so we want everyone to be here. We will start off appropriately by having an invocation. We'll have Reverend Charles Luther IV.
Good morning. Let's pray. Most Sovereign One, we come this morning to celebrate in a historical moment at Prairie View A&M University. Today, as we turn over the Creator's ground, let us always remember to respect the past, experience the present, and receive the bright future which is ahead of us in athletics. Blackshear Stadium gave us opportunities to celebrate victories, rise from our defeats, and appreciate our championships. Now the time has come to experience a new chapter, which will fill new championships, new victories, and fewer defeats. Bless this new facility that will allow us to celebrate the everlasting spirit of Panther pride on this place we affectionately call the Hill. We ask these blessings in the spirit of the one who has provided health, strength, and prosperity life. Amen.
As you can see from the program, we have several people affiliated with our athletic program who are going to speak to the occasion, and then we're very fortunate to have a number of people here today who are going to give words, who are going to be part of the greeting. So we'll start off with some words for the occasion, and we'll bring forward our athletic director, Mr. Ashley Robinson.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
PV.
You know.
One of the happiest days of my life and my staff lives occurs recently when I looked across the field 2 weeks ago and saw Blackshear Field press box crashing down. I saw nearly everyone out of their offices looking out the windows like Santa Claus was headed their way. Before I go on, I want to commend my staff on the work they did in doing the best they could in welcoming visitors to the facility, as it was not easy. And when I say it took work, they did a solid job of pulling it off. In around 15 months, I look forward to returning to this site to our ribbon cutting ceremony, as we have one of the premier facilities in the state of Texas and the Houston area. A facility of this caliber will boom our team's recruiting efforts, our department marketing efforts, and lastly, the university's already impressive image. Just while looking at the progress made in the past few weeks, the amount of energy, dedication, and effort it takes in pulling off a project of this magnitude. In all honesty, when it comes to recruiting prospective student athletes and students, facilities do matter. Once this project is completed, just imagine the possibilities of our university personnel would have at their disposal to sell student athletes and prospective students from a brand new agriculture building under construction, brand new state-of-the-art student recreation center, the new campus retail center, and lastly, brand new athletic facilities. I've heard in the past travels over the years that PVAMU is the best kept secret in the state of Texas. From what I hear now, the secret is out. In closing, if I had to thank everyone who had a hand in getting this project off the ground, I will be here all day. But I do have to thank several individuals for their efforts in getting to this point. First, I'd like to thank Chancellor Sharp for his support. I'd like to thank President Wright for his support not only for athletics, but as the university as a whole. I would like to thank the PVMU Foundation, Panther backers, Athletic Club, National Alumni Chapter, and President Mr. Carl Young is here. Let me point out our president for our foundation, Mr. Roy Perry, is present today. Panther backers President Dino Robinson is here also. And also I want to thank our formerly athletic director, Mr. Fred Washington. A special thanks, and I mean a special thanks to our students for their commitment in enhancing the university and the athletic department. I'd like to thank PBK, Stanston, and Smith & Company, and all our alumni chapters for your support and the entire PVAMU family and supporters. Lastly, I'd like to thank our athletic sponsor, Sodexo, for your support for the athletic facilities and for the athletic department, day-to-day operation, Mr. Gabe Lewis. IBEW, Texas Farm Bureau, Apple Ford and Hyundai, and Mr. Perry, Mr. Bernard Stott, which is the owner of Apple Ford and Hyundai, is here today. He's gonna make a big donation, so make sure we see him before we leave. Houston Methodist and Pepsi and Sheraton Hotel. Thank you.
I think it's very appropriate as we move into a new facility that we also start a new era in our football program by having a new coach. Some of you may have already met, I'm sure others have not, Mr. Willie Simmons. He played football himself, and over the last few years, he's been the offensive coordinator for Alcorn. And as you may remember, I think they beat us something like 72-28. And so one of the things we learned in life, one of the things I've learned in life, if you can't beat them, hire them. Willie Simmons.
Good morning. Mr. Robinson thanked about everybody I was going to thank, so kind of took that thunder from me. But again, it's truly an honor to be here. I've only been on the job about 3 weeks now. And of course, as soon as I got here, we had to hit the ground running. As you all know, January is a huge recruiting season for football. And so we didn't have time to, do kudos and come by and meet everyone. So I apologize if we haven't formally met, but we will after next Wednesday when things slow down a little bit. But we've been hitting the ground, and I can tell you one thing, since my staff and I have been on the road, people in this area are excited about Prairie View. They're excited about the things that are going on here. Like Mr. Robinson and Dr. Wright said, it's no secret what we're doing here. Of course, my staff has done a great job. Mr. McGinty, our sports information director, has done a phenomenal job of advertising construction. And I truly believe construction is a good thing. Whenever you see buildings being knocked down and things being built, it shows the progress that the university is making. And we've truly shown a commitment to not only athletics, but academics here at Prairie View. And it's truly an honor to go around the Houston area, the Dallas area, this great state of Texas, to promote this great institution. And the one thing that, again, that we've observed and known is that, a lot of people haven't been back on the Hill in a while. And a lot of them, this past weekend, we actually had a recruit come in, and his aunt brought him here. She's a PV alum, and I think she graduated in the late 90s. And she was blown away, just going through campus, seeing the new student union, seeing the agricultural building, seeing the new business building being built. It really shows that this institution is a first-class institution, a true flagship school in the state of Texas, which it is. Of course, the state charter says Texas A&M, University of Texas, and Prairie View are the 3 flagship schools in Texas. And we're truly now showing that we're on par with those universities and other universities across the country. So it's truly an honor for me to be here. We break ground on this facility. It now allows us to go out and truly sell Prairie View for the great institution that it is. Of course, here in Texas, I'm from the state of Florida, so we know about high school football. And it's always a running battle of which state has the best football. And I'm in Texas now, so I'm gonna say Texas. But the number one difference, in all seriousness, the number one difference between Florida football and Texas football is the commitment to facilities. In the state of Florida, there are a ton of great athletes, but most play in subpar athletic facilities. My high school, we couldn't shower after practice because of the quality of the locker room and the shower. Weight room, things like that were a foreign art. in the part of Florida we grew up in. But as you go around Texas and go to Texas high schools, the one thing you notice is that everyone has a brand new weight room. Everyone has a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, of course, it's national news about the stadium they built in Allen, and of course, you know, the things that are going on, but still a $60 million high school stadium. And so for us, for Prairie View, for years and years, it was tough. It was tough for a football coach to go out and convince a prospective student athlete that you need to come to the Hill. Well, he left first-class facilities and came back to play on a stadium that wasn't on par with what he had been in high school, to be in a weight room that wasn't on par with what he had been privileged to in high school. So this commitment here is a standing testament to the progress that we're making here and the commitment that we made from an athletic standpoint and the university standpoint. And the student athletes that we've been fortunate enough to get on campus, we have about 18 to 20 that'll be arriving today. They all leave blown away, absolutely blown away at what we're doing here. And we had a recruit this past weekend who, you know, his dad came along with him. They're from Alabama. And, you know, we're very strategic about out-of-state guys who are committed to bringing Texas people here to the Hill. But his mom wasn't able to make the trip. And as he was walking by the student union, he had to make that phone call, of course, to get confirmation from the mother that it was okay for him to come to Prairie View. But was trying to explain what he had seen in that, you know, that hour tour. And he was standing kind of behind us and walking behind on the phone, but I overheard him. And his wife said, well, what's it like? He said, babe, I tell you, it's like Alabama. And that came straight from a father who didn't know anyone was around, who wasn't standing there. He said, facilities-wise, it's like the University of Alabama. And that's what we're committed to doing. So, you know, we thank Mr. Rob. He's always around, he and his wife, telling everyone, all the recruits about the great things going on here. The dorms, the living arrangements, the cafeteria, the student union, you know, the classroom settings, and now Blackshear Stadium and the facility that we have. So it's truly a great time to be a Panther. And we're truly blessed that I've been, you know, named as head coach here. And I promise you that we're committed to bringing in first-class student athletes to represent this university in a first-class manner, to do the right things on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the community, and make you guys, the stakeholders of this great institution, proud. We thank you and look forward to meeting every last one of you and bringing all you to the Hill in 16 when we get this thing off the ground. Thank you.
Today is a great day, a momentous occasion in the life of Prairie View A&M University, the groundbreaking ceremony for our new football stadium. The symbolic act of breaking the ground to start the construction process has been a long journey for those of us gathered here today. It is highly appropriate, therefore, that we have this ceremony to memorialize this occasion. From my first official day as president of Prairie View on August the 15th, 2003, when the groundbreaking ceremony was held for what is now the Nathan Kennedy building in the School of Architecture, I've had the good fortune of participating in about a dozen ceremonies like this one. So, why is today so important? Everyone here knows the strong link between academics and athletics at our universities. I have heard many people who are here today, as well as elsewhere, say in their own way that how sports is the window to the university. Or I've heard people say how sports is the front porch of the college campus. I agree fully about this link of academics and athletics. And it's been the case in my own life, and I'm sure it's with you. But I was thinking about this. First, for me, as a 12-year-old in 1962, I became enamored with a basketball player at the University of Kentucky by the name of Charles Cotton Nash. He was an All-American. I loved him so much and wanted to emulate him that I had all my friends for about 3 years call me Cotton. Think about that. In that regard. And I wore his number 44. It is good, actually, that God does not grant us all of our wishes in life, because I asked God to let me play basketball at the University of Kentucky. Instead, I got cut in the 10th grade. Nevertheless, I have the BA degree and the MA degree and an honorary doctorate's degree from the University of Kentucky, but I started there with my interest in basketball. I became acquainted with Duke University when I saw Duke and UCLA play in the Men's National Basketball Championship game in March 1964. Duke got beat. But nevertheless, that opened the window to Duke University to me. I came to Texas for the first time in February 1980. Parenthetically, I came from Kentucky. It had 3 or 4 inches of snow. Austin, Texas looked like here, it looks out here today. But prior to coming to Texas, I come as a 30-year-old, I can remember being a teenager watching the University of Texas and Texas A&M play an incredible football game on television. I learned about both of those schools' mascots. I learned about their traditions. I learned all sorts of things about UT and A&M, even that they both loved and hated each other in various kinds of ways. So that was my introduction to Texas, was through football. I am willing to bet that there is going to be some young person who either attends a football game here or watches our team on television playing from here, and he will want to play football here. He will not be good enough to play football, but he might leave from here after becoming a student and become a Rhodes Scholar or beyond. Who knows what the door that will open up that athletics first cracks for him. All of you, Prairie View A&M students, alumni, friends, employees, Texas A&M system officials are to be commended. Everyone here, as well as thousands of other people. Getting to this point of our breaking ground has been a long, and there are some of us in this room know, difficult process. One, where to be candid, at least for myself, I often lost faith, at least temporarily. As president, I wondered if my fate would be similar to Moses, where he and his followers were in the wilderness for 40 years. And I said to several people, understand that Moses did not get to the promised land with the folk, right? That the best Moses could do was point the way in that regard. And so over the years, as people asked me, when are we going to get our stadium? I pointed and said, it's over there. Well, guess what? We are now over there. We are here in that regard. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Chancellor of the Texas A&M system, John Sharp. There is no question when one of my history students writes the history of the new football stadium at Prairie View, they will mention John Sharp and give him a great deal of credit. Prairie View folk know that my favorite movie of all time is Godfather Part 1. And regarding his role with this project, Chancellor Sharp seems to have been Marlon Brando, i.e. Don Corleone. Simply stated, Sharp has made this happen. Over the last few years, this is not an exaggeration, more than a dozen people have come to see me because they wanted to do business not so much with Prairie View, but with the Texas A&M system, and Sharp directed them to come here and meet with me. Exactly 1 year ago, my CFO, Corey Bradford, and I went and met with Chancellor Sharp and explained what we thought needed to happen to finish this project. Sharp said, okay. I don't know what he said to all of the folk, but he must have made them an offer they could not refuse, because everyone has worked with us. Chancellor Sharp.
Good morning. So I asked President Wright this morning what I should talk about, and he said, I and everybody else is going to talk about 1 minute. So I'm just going to talk till I get tired. We are on the most beautiful campus in Texas A&M University system. I think it's the most beautiful campus in the state of Texas. And a lot of it is because of this president. A lot of it is because of folks like Bill Jones, who is a regent, stand up Bill, who is a past regent at Texas A&M. But the reason this is happening today is because you got 2 committee chairs of the Board of Regents that are here. You need 2 of them. You need finance and you need facilities. Finance is Charles Schwartz, stand up. Facilities is Jim Schwartz, stand up. And that's why that's happening. And I'll tell you one thing, Russ Wallace and Philip Ray, where are you two? These are the guys that worked out when Corey came to see me and we said, okay, let's do it. These are the 2 guys that fixed the financing, got it going. You 2 guys stand up. Stand up, don't just a little bit stand up. Now, I want to say something else about a guy that's your state representative here, Cecil Bell. In the last session of the legislature, George would say this is right. He stood up for Prairie View when no one else would, was successful in doing it from research funds and everything else. George told me one time at the end of the session, he said, we better check his tree. He may have some brother in it. Cecil, why don't you stand up? As a matter of fact, he is a member of the Legislative Black Caucus, by the way. I want to say congratulations to the Prairie View family for what is going to happen here, for the beauty of this campus, for the new rec center, for new ag building, new business building, and this beautiful stadium that's going to be here. Because of you, because of folks like Roy Perry, because of this president, this is happening. And it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And this football coach is going to make sure that we return to the undefeated days of back in the One of the wonderful things that are great about life is that every day you learn something. Like today, I learned that Florida thinks they compete with us in high school. Congratulations. God bless Prairie View A&M University.
I don't know what to say. I'd like for Regent Charles Schwartz to come up, please. Regent Schwartz has been on the board for about 3 years now, and this is probably his 5th or 6th time here on campus. He's already indicated a strong commitment to Prairie View. Every December, he has sent me a check, and he has said to use that however I can to benefit the students of Prairie View. Regent Schwartz.
As Dr. Wright has said, it is a wonderful pleasure for me to come to this beautiful campus. Every time I come, I get to talk history with Dr. Wright, and we have a wonderful time. We talk about books and history and what a marvelous job he's doing here at this university. I think about this occasion, and it's primarily an athletic one, but it's actually more than that. The Morrill Act was first passed in 1858, but vetoed by President Buchanan. You probably don't hear many public speeches referring to President Buchanan these days, but here's one. In 1862, President Lincoln signed the Morrill Act into law. And in 1876, the Texas legislature accepted the benefits of the Morrill Act and created Texas A&M University and Prairie View A&M University. And since that time, these universities have continuously educated the men and women of this state and provided for the betterment of our communities all over this state and all over this nation. Now, I know of the storied athletic history of this football team. I know that this football team won 6 national championships under William Billy Nix. And I remember as a young man growing up not far from here, those exploits. And it's such a pleasure to be associated with the Board of Regents that is able to help facilitate this new facility for the football program. I can only remark that at the Board of Regents meeting where this football facility was unanimously passed by the Board of Regents, the Board of Regents also debated for 6 hours about whether to raise the tuition $100. So I'm pleased to be here today, and I look forward to many, many great things, and I look forward to seeing those football victories come back.
Next, we will hear from Regent Jim Schwartner. Somewhere around 2010, 2011, Roy Perry and I drove down to Schwartner, Texas to meet with Mr. Schwartner to just get his advice on some of the things that we needed to do to make this become a success. And Regent Schwartner gave us a lot of advice, and he told us he would be here with us to the end. And it's very appropriate he's here today. I can't say enough good things about how supportive Regent Schwartner has been of me and of this university. Regent Schwartner.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, President Wright. Before I start, there's a gentleman that I want to recognize and is going to speak in a minute, but he's one of my mentors and heroes. He's my chairman, Emeritus Bill Jones. Bill, wave one more time to the crowd. Bill was chairman when I was appointed to the Board of Regents at Texas A&M, and he's given me more wisdom and been my mentor throughout my whole career on the Board of Regents. So Bill, thank you, brother. I love you. You've helped me a lot. As President Wright said, about 2010, Roy Perry and him came up to my office and we talked about the vision that they had for Prairie View and the new stadium. And I was blown away by the commitment that I knew this school had and that Roy had and all the alumni that had at the school. And so I knew they were going to get it done, and I've just been a small part of watching all this transpire. And so I'm very proud for all of you today. I look forward to the kickoff, the first season I'm going to be here. Also, I want to say something about your president. I've watched George Wright from afar since I got appointed on the Board of Regents. George Wright is one of the best presidents in the Texas A&M University system. George and I have had many visits about his background as a young man in Kentucky and how hard he worked pulling himself up by bootstraps. And I can't think of a better leader to be at Prairie View right now than President George Wright. George reminds me a lot of Ben Carson. They have the same values. They talk about the same things. They talk about if you want to succeed in life, you don't worry about entitlements. You do what's right and you work hard. So George, you're my hero. And I believe you're going to go down in history as one of the greatest presidents Texas A&M Prairie View ever had. Now before you get the big head, it doesn't hurt that you have someone like Carol Kimball that has led you and many others through the process. And Carol is the real hero here. I met Carol here several years ago too, and I'm always enamored what she has to say and how she guides us. Her and Vicki Spillers back in the system are my two mentors and heroes that kind of keep me in the middle. So thank you a lot, Carol, for what you do. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It is indeed a pleasure to introduce Bill Jones. Regent Emeritus Jones came to this campus as a young person. He had an older brother attend Prairie View, so he came to Prairie View even before he was a student at Texas A&M. As a member of the Board of Regents, he most definitely was a strong supporter of Prairie View. What many of you don't know is how many times Regent Jones has met with Roy Perry and me to work out various things. And Roy is laughing because there were times, you know, Roy has strong opinions. I'm a scholar, I don't have strong opinions, right? Well, we could not agree at times, and so we would call Bill Jones. And I think, Bill Jones, you probably sided with me every time, right? In any event, he was the tiebreaker in a lot of the things. But he told Roy and me that no matter what, we had to stay together to make this project happen. So as soon as we found out certain things from the Board of Regents, we called Bill Jones and he said he would be here today. Regent Jones.
What President Wright didn't tell you is that most of those phone calls occurred after I left the Board of Regents. So I was still working and not getting paid. 50 years ago, a 5-year-old kid came to this campus, and it was his first visit to a university campus ever in his life. He came with his older brother who was finishing up his senior year. And during those 2 or 3 days 50 years ago, this 5-year-old kid got exposed to 3 things that impressed him about a college campus. The first was showers. That little boy 50 years ago had never taken a shower because they didn't have a shower. They had a bathtub and no shower. The second thing was ping pong tables in the recreation center because he had never played on a ping pong table. And the third one was a ton of pretty, educated girls. Now that 5-year-old boy made a decision then he was going to college. Somewhere he was going to college. He didn't know whatever else college had to offer. But if he could get those 3 things, he was going. He later went to Texas A&M, went to Baylor, got a law degree, and later became chairman of the Board of Regents of Texas A&M University System and gave the commencement address at that school, which was Prairie View A&M University. And that little boy, as you can probably guess, was me. So we're here to celebrate the groundbreaking for a football stadium. But this celebration is not really about the football stadium or the football team, although the football team is important. And it is not about the band and the performance on that field, although that's important. And it's not about the activities that will surround the games and the activities on the football field, tailgating parties, reunion parties, and whatnot, although all of those things are important. What we're here to celebrate is the beacon that this football stadium will be. Because sports is the front door of a campus, and this campus can get along without football, as other campuses do across America. And this campus can get along without a football team, and this campus can get along without a football stadium. But this football stadium will be more than all of those things. It will serve as a beacon that you can see from the highway for the excellence that is represented by this campus and by this university. And that beacon will perhaps serve as inspiration for some other child who will set in their hearts to go to college and to better themselves and to do something that perhaps no one else in their family has ever done, or to emulate someone else in their family who is attending here. There are a number of people who had a lot to do with today and making today a reality. One of those people is Roy Perry, and I mention Roy specifically, not because he's the only one that's been involved with this. He isn't. There have been others. There have been many others. But this has been a passion for Roy. And we have had several conversations. Some early in the morning, some late at night. Some when it was convenient, and some when it was not so convenient. But he has put his heart and his soul behind this. And I know that And I know things that you may never know about what he has done to make this happen. And I want him to know that we celebrate that. President George Wright, this has not been an easy path. This has not been a fun path all the time. It has been frustrating at times. But President Wright has stayed the course. And I want him to know that we appreciate him for that. Board of Regents members like Jim Swertner and John White, men and women that I served with during my years on the board, and the members of the board that have served even afterwards. You have to have the support of the Board of Regents to do something like this. And there are board members that have done things like Regent John White. The first campus he visited when he got on the Board of Regents was Prairie View A&M University, and he didn't just visit as a regent, he came in and signed up as a student. And that's a story for another day. But it's a good one. And Regent White texted me as we were sitting there just now. His plane just landed in Houston. We have a seat over here for him, and he's very, very sorry he couldn't be here. But he told me to tell you that whatever I said, ditto for him. So I'm here to tell you that Regent White thinks that I'm a really good-looking guy. And we thank Chancellor John Sharp. Chancellor Sharp put his shoulder to the plow to make this thing happen. And it would not have happened without him. And I want him to know that we appreciate what he has done for this university and to make this a reality. So I'm going to end by saying this. As you build this stadium, please do 3 things for me. A couple of things. 1, make sure it has showers. 2, make sure the rec center has ping pong tables. And 3, keep recruiting pretty women and a few good-looking men. And I'm telling you, you will provide an infrastructure and beacon for the youth of the future tomorrow. And one day, somebody will stand up here and thank you guys for what you've done for this state and this nation. Thank you very much.
Of course, we could not have this program today without a student being a part of it. Students are why we are here to begin with. We're very fortunate to have Sidney LaBeouf as our SGA president. Would you please come forward? And I would also like to say, I'm bragging, I'll admit, I met him 2 years before he became president. He was a student in my class. And I know you're not supposed to mention students' grades, so I won't mention his grade. But if you realize he's almost a 4.0 student, then figure out how he did in my class.
I don't have any funny jokes to tell, but I'll just get to my message. It's truly an honor to be standing in front of you today. Just thinking back 2 years ago, a group of students had a dream. Under the leadership of SGA President Harrison Blair, we wanted to bring a new athletics facility to our campus that would include a grand football stadium. We made the commitment to tax ourselves to raise millions of dollars, and we also made a challenge to alumni to match that commitment. We understand that college is more than just more than just an in-class experience. It is the lessons that we learn that will guide us through our everyday lives that we've learned here at Prairie View. It's our friendships that we've made that will continue to remind us that Prairie View is a great place and produces productive people. And it's the Saturdays that we've spent in our Panther Stadium supporting our great football team that will remind us that this is a great university and that we've done a lot for it. When we come back as alumni, we'll realize that this new stadium, once it's built, is a part of our legacy and our contributions as students. And I'd like to thank Chancellor Sharp, President Wright, all of the students who supported this cause, and Harrison Blair for making this happen. Thank you.
All of of us have mentioned Roy Perry's name, so it is appropriate to hear from Roy Perry. I appreciate what Bill Jones said in saying that there are a lot of things that Roy Perry did that most people will never know. I do know, just like Regent Jones said, about his commitment to this university, and I greatly, greatly appreciate Mr. Perry and all the effort, time, resources he's put into this project. Mr. Perry.
Good morning. Good morning. And I've always wanted to do this for the Regents legislature. Welcome to the Hill. Today I grant you all the rights, privileges to have a good time on the Hill. Those rights and privileges are extended for any future visit. On behalf of the Prairie View graduates, all of our alumni, I really want to say thank you. Many of our alumni really don't understand what the A&M system has done for our university. I often ask the question when alums say, well, they really don't take care of us. I say, what have they not done that we've asked for? We merely have to ask. I owe these gentlemen, I've met them once before, when for some reason they decided to name the College of Engineering, the Roy G. Perry College of Engineering, so I'm still in their debt and gratitude. I don't know where I'm winning. I give money to the dean. There's my dean back there. Dr. Wright calls on whenever he needs something done, but I owe you guys, I think it's an honor, but again, I say thank you. Bill Jones, can't say enough. Dr. Wright touched on Moses, and many times I felt like Bill was going to take out the sword and cut the baby. Was that Jacob or Bill, thank you. Because many days my big brother George thought I had to do what he told me to do. And it took Regent Bill on many phone calls to resolve those issues. We had many arguments, but we're here today. And Dr. Wright, I want to say thank you. Bill Jones, I want to thank you. You were prophetic when you said we have to be here together to make this happen. Again, thank you and appreciate all your advice. I'm sure your secretary got tired of fielding phone calls, sorting emails and notes, but we do appreciate all your efforts. Again, I want to say welcome. I'm Roy G. Perry, President, Chairman of the Prairie View Foundation. Today we mark the beginning of the next step in Prairie View's legacy. This sports complex will serve as a visible milestone of the reemergence of Prairie View. It's not only a champion SWAC athletic program, but as an educational opportunity that every child in America needs to experience. This sports complex will help parents and grandparents convince students across this great state of Texas, again, that Prairie View is an option. It will convince them that Prairie View is their option. For Prairie View to regain its preeminence in engineering, for Prairie View to continue to produce the greatest, most successful nurses across this state, to continue to produce an increasing number of ranchers, farmers, chemists, physicists, biologists, mathematicians, educators, athletes, and military officers, we need this stadium. We need this stadium to attract the best and brightest students this great state has to offer. Research has proven and data at Prairie View has shown winning athletic programs, world-class facilities attract the best and brightest students. Prairie View attracted the largest freshman class in our history after we won the SWAC. Today, my comments are here to say this stadium marks publicly Prairie View's commitment to world-class athletics and world-class education. Now, where do we go from here? I never leave my big brother George when I give him something to think about. I have a simple question. Why can't Prairie View have 20,000 students before the close of this decade? When we talked about a stadium, no one believed we could do that. Why can't we have 20,000 students? But we're not done. The bill's not paid. Alumni and friends, I'm indebted to you. I need your help. I don't want to pass through this life without paying these gentlemen back. We committed $10 million from the alumni. We raised 2.2 to date. Prairie View family, let's pay this stadium off before we give Dr. Wright the key to this stadium. We got 18 months to raise $7.8 million. Let's get it done. Go home, tell your friends, your grandmothers, all of our alums, we're not done. This is just the beginning. Let's pay it off. 7.8 meets the goal. 35 million from us as alumni exceeds the goal. And 10 million on top of that far exceeds. And I'm totally out of debt to my big brother, George. Alumni, donors, and friends, celebrate tonight, but tomorrow we have work to do. Go to www.helppvbuild.org and give. I want to thank all of our students. I want to thank all of our alumni, parents, grandparents. I want to thank our friends. And I want to extend a special thanks to the previous and current leadership of the Texas A&M University system, for they felt worthy of an investment in Prairie View A&M University. Again, thank you. Continue to give. Have a great day.
Appropriately, we are represented today by our National Alumni Association. Mr. Carl Young is now in his third year as president, and he too has demonstrated a strong commitment to Prairie View. Mr. Young.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. As Ashley just mentioned, 15 months from now, we will stand again on these grounds and marvel at the majestic construction that has been completed, our football stadium and sports complex. All of our alums will be beaming with great Panther pride at what we have done. Some of them will be able to say, I was there when it all began. I was there at the groundbreaking. But my message going forward is not to those that will reflect back on this day. My message will be to those, all of the alums, to do your share. We must do our share to make this happen. I will continue to tell them, as I have in the past, as Roy just mentioned, the work is not yet complete. We must go all in to make this happen. Roy wants to pay this off very quickly, and so do I. And that will be my message to all the alums. I will tell them we must go all in to make this happen. I will tell them the Board of Regents are all in. The university is all in. The foundation is all in. And most importantly, our students are all in. Not only are they all in, but they have challenged us to also become all in. How dare we disappoint them? So my message will be to them, as a bare minimum, let's meet the challenge of our students, because everything that we do is all about the students, and we can make this happen. Meet the challenge of the students, do your share, and it will happen. I am absolutely convinced that these grounds will be the start of a fantastic football program that's going to be brought on by Coach Simmons. I have this from very, very good authority. I heard about all of his exploits and all of his qualifications and all of his dedication and what he can do to Prairie View. People were touting the selection of him as our head coach. And these were folks who were very deep into prognostication. They were experts in the field of all things, including football, coaching, football players and everything. So I am absolutely convinced that they were correct. And those experts that told me Coach Simmons was going to do the job for us was my neighborhood barbers and patrons at the neighborhood barbershop I attended. So I have no further evidence than that. We will be successful. Alumni, let's make this thing happen. Let's meet the challenge of our students. They have asked us, let's not disappoint them. Thank you.
As you can see from the program, that concludes our speakers, but notice that Chancellor Sharp started off by mentioning Representative Cecil Bell. Representative Bell is here today on a day when legislators normally go back to their home community so they can do some of their own personal things. Instead, he's chosen to come over here and be with us. Last term was his first term, and he stood up for us in a way, over my 12 years, I had never seen a first-term person stand up and get involved to that degree. So it is very important for all of us that Representative Bell be recognized, and please say a word to all of us today. Representative Bell.
Okay, I guess first thing I have to put my hat back on. If somebody takes any pictures, my wife will at least know who's in the picture. It is a tremendous honor to represent Prairie View A&M and this community in this county. I don't know how to express exactly how humbling it is to be in this position. You know, Dr. Wright, whenever he would come to my office, he didn't say I had any choice whether to carry the mail or not. But you know, in sincerity, I believe in this university. I didn't attend here, but I sure got here quick as I could. And I'm not sure whether I have any brother in me or not. But I'm sure willing to work. You'll have to ask my late dad. Anyway, again, I believe in looking at this in the same manner that I think everybody here does. We're looking at the vision of the future. You're seeing what's going to happen here. This university, I have also used the comment that it was a hidden gem. Well, let me tell you something. Prairie View A&M is a gem, but it's not hidden anymore. It's shining brightly, and the effort of all of the folks here and all those folks who aren't here. Mayor Jackson sitting back there. I want to tell you, that man works harder for Prairie View A&M than most folks know. He's always out there working. Chancellor Sharp, you know, anytime that I need anything, I want to talk about what I believe that Dr. Wright and the rest of the Prairie View A&M system have asked for. And I pick up the phone, I can get in touch with the folks, the regents, all those people. They're committed to this process. And it makes the hair stand up on my arms to think about just exactly where this university will be in 10 years, where this state will be in 10 years. And I do have something I need to do. I always make it a point to take a picture whenever I'm in attendance at anything like this, because I have this thing with my wife, you know, our little deal is until death do us part. And I want to make sure she knows where I'm at. So you guys are my evidence. I am really honored to be here. And can I tell you how strongly I stand in support of Prairie View A&M, of the students, of this county, of our state, and of our nation. God bless you, and God bless Prairie View A&M and the great state of Texas.
We will now turn to Vice President Dr. Loretta Byers to lead this aspect of the groundbreaking ceremony.
I join all the others in reiterating what a great day this is, and I hope that our students that are in attendance have had a chance to see just how much collaboration has to occur in order for us to reach this day. Now, as I call your name, I would like for you to come forward and go stand behind one of the shovels. Regent Schwartz, Regent White, Regent Schwartner, Regent Jones, Chancellor Sharp, President Wright, Ashley Robinson, Willie Simmons, Sidney LaBeouf, Roy Perry, Carl Young, Harrison Blair, Charles Luckner, Courtney Brown, Ronnie Howe, Trey Snyder, and the Honorable Cecil Brown.
Nothing good comes to
Of the Prairie A&M University Football Stadium.
Put on your hat. Okay.
Can you go down how low can you go?
That's why I was trying to get my names.
That in honor of the Prairie View A&M University Football Stadium, I respectfully request that you please break the ground. All right. Very The breaking of this ground seals the official establishment of the Prairie View A&M University Football Stadium. Thank you for all of your work.
Somebody get on the track.
Now, I say to all of you that the program is officially over, but I would ask that you follow our website, the Foundation's website, the National Alumni's website, to keep up with the activities that are going on, and whenever you come back to the Hill, come and take a look at the changes that are occurring. Thank you for coming. That's a pleasure.